everybody. Happy New Year. Today is January 3rd, and today is the very first day I'm streaming on YouTube for 2023. And thank you so much, Sid the Kid, for being online. It's Zachary. Yes, he does absolutely make some amazing, incredible builds, probably the most visually appealing mocks I've ever seen because you know, and I know, and many people know that my guest that I have to kick off the year is a amazing artist from Canada who I've gotten to know through the Daily Brick Limit several years ago, and he has just exploded on the scene. And wanted to give a chance to have many of you get a chance to get to know him a little bit better and to see some of his artwork. So please help me welcome to the stream, Zach Steinman. Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
good.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you here because, as you know, well, maybe some of you may or may not know, Zach Steinman has been just exploding in the art world of Lego. He's now at 26,000 followers on Instagram. And I got to know you through the Daily Brick Limit 2 years ago
Yes.
when I worked with Joriel Builds on that. And that was his brainchild. It was something that he wanted to do. And I was a co sponsor, primarily helping him with the financial incentives because we had prizes at the time.
Yeah.
And also having a chance to help him some of the statistics that were part of that. And you were one of the very first builders to participate in that. And it was just so much fun to have you come along for the ride. But then once that challenge was over, it was amazing. You just started building some amazing builds. And so let's talk a little bit about how you got your start in Lego, because I know that a lot of people started building during the pandemic, but it sounds like you had some Lego with you at one point, and then maybe did you dust it off from the attic or the closet, or how
Well,
did you get
I
started with?
mean, I think it started like a lot of people my age. I was playing with Lego as a child. Um, had the original Galaxy Explorer when it
Mhm.
came out, and the Castle Lego and stuff like that. So,
Right.
but then as a teenager, I sold all of it. Basically gave it away. And
No,
my only regret ever, one of my only regrets in
you
life
sold
was,
all your Lego. Oh
yeah,
no.
because it wasn't cool anymore for a while. I got into motorbikes
Right.
and stuff like that. But anyway, I did reignite my love for it, and it was another similar story during the pandemic. Getting just finding something else to do, and
Mm-hmm.
so I got the Tantive set, the Star Wars set, built that, and then I just tore it apart and built a small X-wing, and then it just went from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I
And
remember when I was introduced to the Daily Brick Limit Challenge, it was actually Brick Princess Buttercup.
oh, Brick Princess Buttercup in Australia.
Yeah, I think because I was thinking it was January 3rd, and she contacted me, like just sent me a message saying, "Hey, there's this challenge, or maybe I liked something she did," and she said you should do it. And so I jumped in. I did three. I did three right away because I was a couple days just sort of behind, but
Right.
but you let us put in make up for lost days. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and that was, and I should mention, as I just a few minutes ago talked about that John Joriel Builds.
Yeah.
He actually started that the year before, and
Okay.
I was like one of three people who participated in that challenge. And I told him, I said, if you really want to get more people involved, you probably need to promote it earlier and put some incentives behind it. And I said, I'll help you out. I'll throw in a couple of incentives in there, and we had a couple of sets that we were giving away. And then we launched it in January of 2021, and it just exploded. It was amazing. Just we had, like you said, Brick Princess Buttercup, who is now actually has been on Lego Masters Australia. You probably
That's
know
right. Yeah.
that. So this was before she was on Lego Masters, and she also sponsors her own Brick Limit Challenge too on Facebook.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that when John started this back in 2020, I think he launched it in, I think it was July and October. We ran it a couple times, and I
Okay.
said, I'm happy to help you out. Maybe get some more promotion out there, and that's really what it needed. It just needed a little bit of promotion, he set up a Daily Brick Limit account on Instagram, and then all of a sudden it just went wild. It was pretty amazing. Just and I tried to continue it, but I couldn't do it alone. And also,
Okay. Yeah.
I don't have access to the Daily Brick Limit account, so Jorial Build still has that. And trying, so what I've been doing instead is when people use Daily Brick Limit hashtag or tag me, I will try to respond to it, but I don't have a challenge going with regard to a brick limit
Right.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing instead partnering with other groups. For example, this month we're doing Mind the Brick, hashtag Mind the Brick. And I'm known for baby builds.
Yeah.
Super sewer baby is one of my things. So I mentioned to Nick Bright, I asked him, I said, hey, would you be okay if we did hashtag Mind the Baby and hashtag Mind the Brick? So you're welcome to participate in that too if you want. Hashtag Mind the Baby for the month of January. But
Cool.
but when you started with some of these builds, these brick limit builds, I remember you had mentioned that this was kind of a start for you to get reignited with Lego again. And it
Yeah.
sounds like you and Brick Princess Buttercup and other people were kind of doing these challenges. And so I'm just curious about around that time, which would have been January of 2021, what was happening in your life and how did working with the community work for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like many people, I wasn't completely stuck at home. I was for a while. Took a big chunk away from work, just to stay home, isolate a bit, just voluntarily, and
Hmm.
like I said, I took up the Lego again. It just became a creative outlet, and just to pass the time and keep my mind and fingers spry. And it sort of went from there because I grew up. My mother was an artist, and I actually feel like an artist now, and I genuinely
You
feel I'm really happy that I found my medium basically.
Yeah, you
First question.
absolutely are an artist. And
Okay.
it's interesting because in the 2 years since the Daily Brick Limit, your account has just grown by leaps and bounds. And I'm just curious about when you noticed that people were starting to gravitate to your art, did you feel that this, as you mentioned, this you found your medium and was your the thought of your mom and your mom's artistry also come into play as well?
It definitely did. In fact, it actually manifested in in her desk. This is her art desk that I recreated.
Oh, nice.
So it's a scale copy of her desk in her
Wow.
studio, and with the
Nice use of
the
technique.
lamp that articulates and
Oh, nice.
artwork there, and I had made her stool and sat down in front of it. But yeah, so this one's going to stay together. It's one of the very few mocks that I make that actually stays
Yes.
together. But this one actually means quite a bit to me, because this is
Oh,
the
fun.
actual art table that she still uses to this day. But
Wow.
that's what I remember as a kid going and seeing her working on
Now,
that
does
desk.
she work on drawings? Is it looks like a drawing table? Does she do mostly?
It's painting. Her main medium is watercolor, but
Mhm.
she does a lot of detail sketches as well. Yeah.
Wow. So, how's your mom feel now that she's seen your work in Lego and
She's been amazing. She's not extremely technically in, so she has a Facebook account that's very quiet, but she basically got it to see what everyone else is doing, to see what we're doing, and she's definitely one of the first ones to like my stuff from Facebook. She's not on Instagram, but most of my stuff gets transferred from Instagram to my Facebook page, so she sees
right?
it there, and I think she's very pleased that I've found my medium basically.
You've
So
followed in her footsteps, just
right,
as a sculptor instead of a painter, right? But you
yes,
also
right.
do mosaics too, because I've seen your account. Some of your mosaics
Yep.
are
I,
amazing
I
as well.
I actually love variety, and I still love variety with my Lego too. I mean, in the earlier days, I was doing more of your typical Lego builds, but then I started mixing it up, and the daily brick limit really helped me. Makes you think, and try to be more inventive with the Lego parts, right?
Hmm.
As you know, and
Yes.
so that helped me just open my eyes to how you can use parts in different ways. So Yeah.
Right. And also photography was also a way to express yourself with a limit of parts.
That's right. And that's one thing I do. I do sort of pride myself on. And I just use my phone for everything, but just as you've probably seen, I like to take good, clear pictures and different angles and different lighting,
Hmm.
to catch the
Right.
different effects of the builds. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too, I have a couple of your pieces that I've taken into a little slideshow,
Okay.
and I noticed that you also do a really good job with lighting of your pieces, and then
Yeah.
also the backdrops. That there's a lot of attention to the backdrops, and
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find one particular piece. I think you did for the daily brick limit where you had, I think, a studio and then a window that you actually could take the photo and you saw some other aspects from that angle. And
Yeah.
I wish I had found that before the broadcast today, but
Yeah. Many people, and I don't mind that people think this or that, or many people do it. Many people think I've done some sort of Photoshop or something, some extra editing and stuff like that. And most I've done is just sharpen the
sharpen the
photograph,
images.
but it's all done with literally with lamps with paper towels on them.
Okay,
And
I'm going to give you full screen. Go ahead.
okay, yeah,
There's paper
I've got these
towels on your
really
lamp,
really
a
I got like
regular lampshade.
three IKEA lamps with the paper towel
Oh,
taped on
wow.
it. I got another
Okay.
one here with tape, and I've got another one up slightly back. Um,
So essentially, it's a regular desk lamp
oh yeah,
and a lampshade with a paper towel on it.
yeah. And so what I do is, when I'm building, I sort of I got more light, more direct light, and then when I want to see what it looks like, with I'll rotate this really technical lampshade over and give myself a little bit more, sort of a diffused light
Yeah.
into the area to look at the build. And many times I'll do that while I'm building. I'll take photos, well, partially to do
Hmm.
process photos, but also to see what it looks like at different angles and different light. So
I'm glad you said that. I'm not in my studio right now, but I have a desk lamp that also I put just photocopy paper.
yeah,
I don't use a paper towel, but I might use
yeah,
that. But I have that because sometimes you can get colored paper and
yes,
put colored
yeah,
paper up, and then that gives you a different kind of effect too.
yeah,
But it's very bare bones. So I'm glad that that's inspiring because people don't have to spend a lot of money to
yeah.
have good quality photos, which
Yeah,
is good.
I think that's some people not a downfall, because I think anything that people post is great, um, as long as they're enjoying the process. But I think many times, people could take better pictures of what they build
Hmm.
sometimes, and
Hmm.
many times I find a lot of pictures. There's a lot going on, in
Yeah,
people's builds, and it's like
right,
you just want to focus on a few things, to make it clearer. But yeah,
right. And that's what's nice too is having those different angles of your shoots, so then that way people can see the different aspects, especially when it comes to your cube art.
okay,
which
yeah,
which by the way, for those of you who are joining, this is a new format I'm trying out. I usually don't broadcast on Tuesday, so this is the first time I'm broadcasting
cool,
on a Tuesday earlier. And so usually I broadcast later, and I'm moving my whole schedule up a little bit because for those of you who don't know, Zach is in Nova Scotia, Canada.
yeah,
So we were talking about the time difference, and I all this time I thought he was Eastern time when
yeah.
he's actually what, Atlantic time.
That's
So
right. Atlantic Standard Time. It's a real thing. It's another hour beyond.
right,
Yeah.
right, and and so just being in Canada on the eastern side, I know that the western part of Canada, British Columbia, there's several lugs that are there. And before the stream, you and I had talked about that you just joined your local lug
I literally
recently.
just in the I think 2 weeks ago I joined the Maritime Lug, the Mary Lug. I didn't know. I remember in earlier interviews, I'd be like,
Right.
are you a part of a lug?" I'm like,
What is
I'm
a
not even
lug,
sure what you're
right?
talking about. But I figured out. I found a person, who has a bricklink store, and just happens to be 10 minutes away, and so we hooked up, and he's also, one of the organizers for the local lug, and so,
Hmm.
I decided to join, and yeah, I haven't done too many activities with them. I've gone to his place and built some stuff and enjoyed it and had a great time. But as of yet, I haven't met the rest of the lug. But I have
Well,
joined.
I'm sure they know of you, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sure that when whoever your land ambassador is mentioned that you're joining the lug, I'm sure people were just super excited about that. I know if I found out that you were joining Port Lug, I belong to the Portland Lego Users Group,
okay,
I
yeah.
would say, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Zach Steinman is coming here!"
Oh, great.
Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious. I know you're just a really modest and humble guy, and I was just curious about how have you taken the newfound success with all of the followers you have. You mentioned too, just briefly about there's a magazine that is going to be featuring you and some of your art. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Well, I've had the Le Brick in mag in France already, which is great. Sebastian, who did Lego Masters there, he's also the
Mm-hmm.
editor into that.
Yes.
And then I just recently looked at an article that's going to be in Brick Journal, the
Okay.
American Brick
Yeah.
Journal, and then also the Art of Play also interviewed me. So that was kind of a cool interview because it wasn't Lego specific, just
Just
it's
being an artist.
yeah, artists and well, it's the Art of Play. I'm tell you the truth, not too familiar with it, but it's a website that discusses games and art and how they
Mm-hmm.
intertwine and stuff like that. So yeah,
Wow. And I guess that and I know people are saying, let's see your art for those of you who don't know his art. And I do want to give time for people to join in to be a part
sure.
of this. But of all the things that you've done, you know, based on your Lego journey, what pieces are you most proud of?
Um, there's quite a few. I don't have a lot. I mean, it's always evolving. So I like to surprise myself, and I like to please myself. Like with the art and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I really love my mom's art table because it means a lot
Yes,
personally.
absolutely. That's
I
got an emotional tie,
Yeah,
right?
I a lot of my mocks come apart because one of the number one questions I get is like how much Lego do you have? Because I almost do something daily. It's probably every day and a half I'm posting up something new.
Yeah, you're very prolific,
Yeah,
definitely.
and so I tear apart most of my mocks. I keep lots of records,
Hmm.
photographic records and stuff like that. But many of it comes apart. But I'm slowly getting enough Lego and fall in love with enough of my mocks that I want to keep them together. Because there's some I want to keep and actually show like
Right.
at places. But like I've always been a nice speeder fan, so this one has been
Oh,
really
yeah.
popular. It's a really solid. It's very swooshable, by the way. But I love it's very clean. That's my style
Yes.
too. I like to keep it clean, keep it clean. The builds.
Now,
But
are
there's enough.
you a Star Wars fan? You mentioned that Star Wars was one of the first sets you got.
Yeah. Well, when I got back into it, I got the Tantive set, and I am a
Hmm.
Star Wars fan. I just like the whole design and sci-fi. When I was a kid, I used to go to the library all the time and take out the same book, which I, I, and that's another thing to do. I'm bad with titles and names, but it was a sci-fi book that had just illustrations of science fiction art and spaceships and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
as a kid growing up, that's the stuff I like. So it was nice being able to create. I think Rebel Punk put on just a very short
Oh,
challenge celebrating their sort of numbers growing and had a speeder challenge, and I love speeders, so
yeah.
I just did my own sort of mock. And I love the dark red. It really works well.
Yes.
I've got some
In
more of that
fact,
I
I
want to
was
play with.
surprised that you have so many curves in dark red because those are hard
Yeah,
to find.
most of this is that farm truck.
Oh,
This is almost
yeah.
all from that farm truck.
Okay. So
And
you
I never built
pretty
I never
much did
built
a
the truck.
rebrickable on the farm truck.
Yeah, it's loaded with all the curved dark red.
So
Yeah.
Brick Jedi says that's super rad. And speaking of rebrickable,
Mhm.
since that's mostly from that farm truck, have you done any rebrickable kinds of builds where you just take a set and then you build something out of it and then put the instructions up?
I have not. So I I literally about the same time I joined the lug, I got like I haven't used Studio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use any software, and
Right.
I
I'm the
was
same
given
way. I like
yeah,
having the tangible pieces and being
yeah.
able to form them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand the concept, and I've got some people around me that know it quite well, so that's going to help me in the future with possibly getting my some of my art out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't used it myself, so I know in order to get to make instructions and stuff like that, you got to have be able to use or know someone that can use the studio stuff and do that. But I have looked at one thing on Studio because someone took one of my cubes and put it on a Studio file and then sent it to me, but I couldn't open it because I don't have Studio.
Because you don't have,
So I
well,
had to download Studio and I put it on an old laptop that I was just given, and I just looked at it. That's all. Literally, all I've
oh,
done is
okay.
looked at one of my cubes on Studio. So
Well,
yeah,
this might be a good time for us to look at a few of your cubes. So
yeah,
I think
sure,
maybe the easiest thing is I'm going to go share your Instagram account
okay,
because I think your Instagram account has most of those cubes highlighted. So let me find the right one. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. So I'm going to go scroll to the very top. So for those of you who do not follow this account, you need to follow this account. You can tell he's already at 26.2 thousand followers. And you can see that Steinman, Zachary Steinman, Lego artist, designer, bike shop manager.
yeah, that's what I do
Tell us about
for a
that
living.
too.
Yeah,
But here are some of the cubes. And you've pinned a few of these. So let's talk about the ones you've pinned because they're
yeah,
important to you for pinning them, right?
sure. So I think I mean I'll probably change pins from now and again,
Mm-hmm.
but the just ones I'm pretty pleased with, and they show sort of a little bit of variety.
Right.
The one cube with the corner peeling back was cool. That
Yes.
you can actually, I don't know if you saw that, there was a video. If you go to check it out, there's a video there, and I actually physically you can peel back the corners.
This one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can. I think the second or third slide is the actual video. Third one, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I actually
Oh,
you can
and
actually
it's okay. I see what you're saying. So you
yeah
can actually bend them back. Oh my gosh.
yeah
Wow.
you peel back the corners.
Wow. That is so dope. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a cool experience. And it's funny as you see the backside of that. I was building on the back of another cube, which I got
Uh-huh.
partially torn apart. Sometimes my ideas come so quickly that I'm not finished one and I have to
Right.
start another one.
And then
So
you already are on the next one.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, well let's just scroll through this one because it gives you some more texture.
yeah. And I put a different inside. So like that, I kind of like this one where you can actually see it that it's a Lego cube inside,
It's got studs
whereas the
on
other
the
one I have it
outside.
covered in tiles. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
there's the tile one.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And I like how the light plays off the
Mm-hmm.
surfaces there too. And I
And
usually put
what
a
I
bit of a process video in.
yeah, I love how you go through the process because I think that's part of what we love as AFOLs is other AFOLs sharing their process and
Yeah,
being very forthcoming with that. And
yeah,
yeah, you're really, really good about that. So I'm going to go ahead and let's stop sharing this one and let's look at some of these other ones that you have. Now, I'll go ahead and click on this one because this is the one that I really liked how you did the corners on this.
yeah. So that is how I originally started doing cubes. Is
Uh-huh.
I just started using the slopes, and
Right.
I would play with. And many times when I'm sort of proving a cube, I guess you would say, is
Mm-hmm.
I start with the corner. I start with the
Mm-hmm.
corner, and then I just make a design on the corner. If I know if it works, then I know I just
You just keep repeating that
do that,
all the way around.
repeat
Here,
it.
let me
Exactly.
give you full screen. Go ahead and do that again.
No, I was gonna say I'll start with the corner of the cube. So I look at
Mm-hmm.
it at like that, and I start building a design around the corner. Once
Mm-hmm.
I prove that, Many times I'll just grab any cube and start building it. But then when I start building a design, I have to figure out if it's going to be an even number or an odd number design. Even numbers are easier because it's more straightforward. Everything's by twos or ones.
And that one's an 8x8 cube.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of like cubes.
There's your 4x4.
Pre-built, right? 4x4s, 8x8. I got the
6x6. Yeah.
6x6, but I've also have odd numbers built. Now some of them are used right now. But this one that I built this is a 7x7 with the 2000.
Oh wow!
22.
Yes.
Thing on it. That's just a 7x7 that I decided.
See, I think you're one of the few people I know who actually does an odd number for some of the cubes. You know, that deliberately does the odd number ones because that's much harder to do.
Oh yeah, it's harder to actually. Yes, it's harder to build even the base cubes, but it's yeah. I've got a few things I'm working on right now too, but yeah.
Well, cube, you know what? Yeah. This might be a good time since we're talking about the base cube. And some of you, as I mentioned, this is a new format, and Zachary was kind enough to indulge me in this. And what we're doing is something called the 2-minute tech tip. And since Zach is known for doing those cubes, and he also said that some of his followers have asked him to actually do a short video. So we have that video here. I just posted it on TikTok, and now we're going to present it here. And please let us know if you can hear the sound, because we were trying this before going live, and I can hear it. So you may need to adjust your volume. And hey, Ogun, how's it going? You're here just in time because we're going to be playing the 2-minute tech tip. This is the first of a series. And Zach is the very first because I asked him, I said, this new brainstorm I'm trying for 2023 is 2-minute tech tips that we're going to get from various builders around the world. So first one is from Zach Steinman. So for those of you who are joining us, you're the first to see this if you're not on TikTok. Okay, ready? Here we go. Happy New Year, everybody. And we're starting off this year with the 2-minute tech tips. Check this one out from Zach Steinman.
This is a really quick video on how to make a base cube. In this case, we're gonna make a 4x4 base cube. You want 6 plates. These are 4x4. I chose gray, but you can choose any color you want. Nice thing is the inside are made of these snot bricks. Snot brick is studs not on top. In this case, you can use any color you want inside because it'll all be covered up. It doesn't matter. No color is better than the other. This one here is a 4x1 snot brick, so studs on more than one side. You need 4 of those, 4 of these 1x2s. And all I'm gonna do is stick these here, this here, with the extra studs pointing out, and then you make another one. There. Here, sticking out. There we go. This. And this. These are going to be opposite sides, top, bottom, whatever they may be. And nice thing is, the other plates hold it all together. Right? Just need studs configured like this. Plates hold everything together, like that. Place them on there. Place them on there. There we go. 4x4 cube. Now, quick way to make a 2x2 cube is these snot bricks. If you have them, they're studs on 1, 3, 4 sides. Put these in opposite directions. Have these are 2x2 plates, like this. Hold it all together, like that, like that, like this, and like that. There you go, 2x2 base cube.
Wasn't that awesome? For more information, check out Zach Steinman at Steinman Zachary at Instagram. And also for more 2-minute tech tips in the future for 2023 and beyond, at Brickanista on YouTube and on Instagram. May the clutch be with you. So there you go. very first debut on YouTube of the 2-minute tech tip. And I asked Zach to film it in the profile format because it already has launched on TikTok. I'll be posting that also on, I think, Instagram Reels, which also prefers that format. And it seems like that's like the way people like to view things on their phones. And that was a very cool tech tip. Thank you.
Yay, no problem.
Appreciate
Awesome.
that. And what I love about what you did with your tech tip, which I hope others will do as well, is you actually talk through your process, because we see a lot of videos like this that are on the various social media platforms where they usually have music going on. And then they're super fast, right? People are just like going through it really fast to try to fit it in the short time frame. And that you did the voiceover, I thought was really helpful. And I hope other people try that and start looking at cube art is a new form that I think Zach has been really kind of spearheading. So let's talk a little bit about, let's go back to, let's go back to your Instagram account, shall we? Because I think you have, we were just talking about this.
Right.
So this one, I got to grab my water. It's over here. Hold up. Oops. Ah. I'm not in my studio, so I'm like all confused. All right. So this one you were talking about, would you say this is what, an 8x8 cube that you used as a base?
It is it's a 6x6 inside. Let's see here. 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6x6 inside, and then just using the slopes on the outside, and I sort of adapted this sort of the pattern in the corner, like you said, quite earlier on in my cube design days, and that's how I was sort of doing cubes. And then it wasn't until later that I actually started doing the flush, like the perfect, I guess you call them perfect cubes with the flush with the tiles. It took me a while to figure that out, and then once I did, I sort of got away from this design. But then I still incorporated from time to time pieces of that or some of that idea in some of my builds.
What I like about this is because you have this corner, you can rest it on the corner and display it like this, right?
Exactly. That was one of the downfalls of going to the regular cube, is that I needed to. It was harder to stand on the corner.
Right.
So, but being Lego, you can take little pieces of tiles off and build little structures and have it stand up on its own essentially as well. So yeah.
Right. So other people like your tech tip. So awesome. And then hello friends. Hello Spot the Magic Ninja.
Oh, hey.
Good to have you here. And by the way, prayers to Buffalo. I know that you've been hit a lot with all kinds of news lately. I hope Damar Hamlin is doing okay. But going back to your cube art, I also put together a PowerPoint because there were two specifically that were inspired by a particular artist, Nicholas Weilaus. Is that right?
Yes, Wheeler, Nicholas Wheeler.
Wheeler, okay.
Yeah, and these aren't cubes, right? These are the sculptures. Yeah.
These are sculptures because we were talking about how you have them sitting on the corners. Yeah. So I wanted to share that because I just took a few, and I'm laughing because my when I was talking about this presentation, let me just, I have to do something in the background first. I need to put it back to the very first screen. Okay, there we go. What I'm laughing about is that the very first slide that I have of this presentation.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to go through this because there's only like 8 slides, so we'll talk through this. But so the first one I picked was the panda.
Oh yes, yes.
Because of course, because I'm going to call this the year of the panda, because there's a 3-in-1 panda poly bag that's coming out, as well as the panda minifig that's coming out
Oh,
the
okay.
Lunar New Year. But you actually did this panda face for National Panda Day when we were doing the holiday brick limit,
Yes.
which I thought was great. And then this one is your vacuum. And this
Yes.
is why
That.
I wanted to mention you've evolved quite a bit because you were doing a lot of um, real
Yeah.
life art where you would
Yeah. And
take.
I still like that. I still love doing
Mm-hmm,
scale builds. And in fact, I'm doing one right now that I'll post
mm-hmm.
up later tonight. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is what I wanted to mention. This is the
Yes.
Nicolaus Wheeler, right?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Nicolaus Wheeler sculpture.
Villiers. Yeah.
So the one on the left is the original.
Yes.
And then you did that in Lego.
And
And
actually, that's kind of cool. You mentioned the cube, so that the center is actually one of those base cubes. It's
mhm.
holding it all together.
Oh, in the center. That's right.
Yeah. So I think
Because
you should. I think there's a process pick there.
yeah, I put the process picture there. So
Yeah. So
in
that is.
that tech tip that we just
Yep.
saw, if you see the center right here,
Yeah.
you'll see that's exactly what you saw was Zach mentioning in the tech tip is he built the 4x4 and then he built the 2x2, and that 2x2, as you can see here, is the basis of that model on the
Yep.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's just brilliant. I just love seeing your process and just the fact that you're so willing to share as well about how you do this. And I just need to check the sorry, I need to go back and just check the chat real quick. Zach, you're a legend, bro. Okay.
Thanks.
And GLS gives you major props as well.
Oh,
So
thanks.
yeah, that's one thing
Awesome.
about this format is that sorry, I have to kind of go back and forth
I see. Yeah.
to be able to look at the chat. What I need is a second device, but we'll get there someday. So here's the other sculpture that
Yeah.
just blew my mind because you see on the left that it looks like it's balancing on just like this one little corner here.
Just a couple slopes that are attached in the right
It's
spot. Yeah.
just mind blowing. And then here's the process photos where you're using a combination of 1x1 barrels and it looks like 1x2 bricks and 1x2 plates and 1x1 studs, round studs. And then that gives you the curve, which is
Yeah.
right here, and just being able to connect them together to give you that sculpture on the
Yeah.
left.
And there's a couple snot bricks on each axis that helped with that.
Mm-hmm.
That blew my mind too because I got so close and it just wasn't working. But all I had to do was take out one line of bricks on each section, and then it worked. It just all went together, and it was nice and strong, and yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
And the fact you have this gap in the middle too, that just is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I just it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Just
The
looking
original
at
sculpture was made out of aluminum, so just like a solid, like a continuous
wow.
piece of aluminum. So.
Yeah. And how did you find this Nicholas Wheeler art?
You know what? I think it was just on. It might have been Pinterest. Like we just like I get e-blast from Pinterest saying, "Hey Zach, you might like this art," because I just started searching online for pictures, and then it was on Pinterest. Right. And the thing with that, as you may know, is like sometimes it's hard to find out who the artist is. Sometimes.
Right.
And it's kind of cool. I don't know if you noticed, just like 2 days ago. The funny thing was that I got an e-blast from Pinterest saying, Zach, you might like this art is so you, and it was actually a picture of that sculpture, like my own. Sculpture.
It was your own sculpture, right?
But it was from an article that Brothers Brick actually featured that.
And that's funny that somebody sent to you your own sculpture saying you would like this.
I thought it might happen someday, but it did just 3 days ago. I got an inspirational picture of my own stuff.
That's funny.
Interest, so that was cool. Yeah.
Well, EB Good's here. Hey, how's it going? I recently started following Zach. Mind blown. And if I remember right, EB Good, are you the Lego master that was on season 3? I think you are. I can't keep
Awesome.
track of all of your
You know what?
handles, but I think that's you.
It's been
And
really kind of mind-boggling for me. Like some of the people who comment and send me messages and follow me are
right.
people that I admire big time. I do have to say though, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I haven't watched all Lego Masters and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool because I'll try to look up when people. It's kind of hard, but look up people who start following me or put a comment, and I'll check on their accounts and stuff like that. And it's kind of sometimes it's hard for me to understand that someone who other people who create such amazing things are inspired. So that's great because they inspire me. So
Well, I think that's a lot of people who inspire each other. And they said, yes, it's him. That's because I think he goes by EB Bricks on Instagram.
okay,
Because he's been on my show before when we had the interviews with different Lego Masters and following
cool.
Lego Masters season 3. So you have another fan.
Well, that's great. And I apologize to some people because I'm not good with names. Like for example, I'm just getting a handle on people's Instagram handles. And so luckily my Instagram handle is my own name, which makes it easy. but other
I had
people's
to,
isn't. So
when I was recording the intro and the outro for you, I had to do it so many times because I'm used to calling you Zachary Steinman, but you go by Steinman Zachary on your
yeah, I know.
Instagram account.
Yeah. When I started this, it was just my first post was a picture of my cat, my very first Instagram post, and then there was beer and bicycles. That's how I started.
Cats, beer, and bicycles.
I'm a cyclist. I'm a competitive cyclist, and we don't have kids. We got a cat, so and I enjoy beer from time to time. So it was beer, cats, and cycling. But it evolved, as you can see. So yeah,
I've seen some of your cycling, and why don't we talk a little bit about that? Because you mentioned in your profile that you're a manager of a bicycle shop.
Yep. Yeah, I manage a bike shop in downtown Halifax. And I love that's my other passion is biking. I come from an endurance sports background. I ran in university track and cross country, and then I got into multi-sports, duathlon, run, bike, run. Had quite a few years of being competitive at that level. Went to Worlds for duathlon way back in 2012. And then I started concentrating more on just road racing, like the bicycle. And then cyclocross is another type of bicycle racing. Actually, I was just right before I jumped on here, I was watching today's race that was happening in Belgium. So
you need to host your own challenge of a bike marathon and then a Lego build. It would be like a biathlon, how they have skiing and shooting.
Yeah,
but you would be biking and building Lego. That would be awesome.
Well, sometimes I ride the stationary trainer, like I ride my own bike inside, so I think many times because it's safer. I'm thinking about Lego, or sometimes I pick up my phone and check things as I'm doing an easy interval or something like that. So
we don't want people actually building Lego while they're cycling.
No, it's not. It's not the best idea.
Don't do that.
No.
We're not recommending that. But I do think though that would be something that would be, a keystone of yours, is that if you wanted to do, hey, bike a mile, build some Lego.
Yeah.
And yes, and then Spot the Magic Ninja says always making good use of those bike lights too.
Yes. Oh, I was gonna say I got my.
Oh, let's do a close up of that.
So this is my mixer. It's actually the life size. It's 1:1 scale of the mixer. I have a DJing background as well back in the day. So this is the actual.
Wow.
So I got the on off switch back here.
How did you do the input jacks?
It's
are those just Apollo studs? Oh, wow.
That's all it is. So it looks good. I gotta get
it looks amazing.
Yep. And then it's just into it.
I just love how
Technic.
You could easily be a designer similar to what they've done with the Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. So like all the crossfaders work. All the knobs work. All the switches.
Wow.
Work. Sometimes they fall off. All the switches work. Yeah, all the switches work. And then also he mentioned the bike lights, so I put the bike lights inside.
So it keeps it bright inside. That's
Well, in here, so it
brilliant.
goes. So when you go to the all the LEDs,
Yes.
so my channels are going off here, right? With the
Wow.
music. But anyway,
I didn't know you were using bike lights. Wow.
yeah, just little bicycle lights. These happen to be a giant product, but just little bike lights that go inside. They're just
And
small enough. They're
they
square, and they
have
actually
a,
fit in a 4x4 hole
oh my
nicely.
gosh.
Yeah.
See, that's another tip. That's a future tech tip. Using innovative lighting.
As you know,
Wow.
there's lighting that now caters, specifically Lego. I played with little LED like Christmas lights in the past, but
Right.
there are lots of, and I'm sure people know, and probably people use them all the time. There are Lego specific lights.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the Lego specific ones are also like the ones that I have. You have to tie them to the battery, and the length is really short. Oh, what do you have there? And by the way, people said that looks so real, and that's epic.
Yeah,
Of
I'm really
your
happy with
mixer.
that. There's a lot of bricks in that, so I'm fighting with the idea of leaving that together. But
Oh,
because that's a lot of tiles, a lot of
you
bricks,
need
a lot
to
of stuff.
take that to like an AV place,
Yes,
an audiovisual place, and see if they'll buy
you
it
can
from
sell
you.
it.
Then
You
you
can
can
sell it to a
replace.
place that does mixers.
Yeah, then you
So
replace the
you
bricks.
probably recognize this.
Oh,
This is
the throne.
the dwarf throne from
Yes.
it's actually modeled after the one they used in the Hobbit movies.
Yes.
So I actually built this a year ago, but I didn't. But it wasn't until this year that I finished the back of it.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually put these are actually batteries and lights from a really bad Halloween decoration.
Oh.
That I just tore apart. And
Oh
put
my
in here.
gosh.
And then the Arkenstone.
Now, what's the string for the back?
That's just a switch with the wire.
Oh, it's just a switch for
So
you,
I
so
don't
it's
waste.
easy to
I
get
just turn
to.
so that you can see the Arkenstone there.
Yes. Oh
So
my
that's
gosh.
just enough to light that up.
That's
and then
beautiful.
it'll just shut off. You just turn it on again with it.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's all built in. But this one's gonna stay together. I'm very I'm very proud of this one because it's probably it's a scale model of the one that was used in.
Wow.
In
Are
that,
you a big Lord of the Rings fan?
Yeah, I mean, I know as a kid, my mother read them to me. I read them again,
Mm-hmm.
and then of course I did enjoy the movies too. But what I do sometimes is I look at stuff and I think, I can tell if it's going to be achievable with Lego.
Yeah.
And so I actually started with this.
I like how you focused on the dwarves because the dwarves were often overlooked. Everybody was big on the elves and the hobbits and Gandalf, but not a lot of people have focused on the dwarves. So that's awesome.
I do have to say that dwarves, I think their style is a little easier to recreate with Lego.
With Lego? Oh, okay.
Angles and the stone look.
It's still amazing work.
Oh, thanks.
And Spot mentions that someone gave him a light kit for his ship in the bottle and can't wait to play with it.
Nice.
Yeah, so maybe we should have a future follow-up with another tech tip about lighting sometime, because I think that's always fun, just seeing how people do things with their mocks.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What's on your horizon? You mentioned the magazines that they've approached you, and are you looking at commissions too, as far as
that is going to be that I have a backlog of people who, so that's always been on the back burner, and I'm not sure how I want to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And also not sure if I want to go that way, but I'm going to be exploring that. Before I say too much, I'm going to get some more details. But I think I mentioned earlier, I found some people that are actually local.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned to me off stream, but I think for our audience, what we were having a conversation about was that Zach has been approached by many people because of his art to replicate it or to do a special commission or to buy it. And he and I were talking about, doing instructions, that people would love to have instructions, and then they can pick whatever color palette that they want. Right, so I think you're exploring that right now with some people, right?
As far as... I mean, many people just want to buy coming from art background and understanding that there's some people that I think many of the people that follow me are, I mean, there's many Lego people, but there's also many people who just like art in general.
Right.
And so some people would just
the
literally
A-fold
want to buy the
build
pieces.
it.
They just want to
Right.
buy the art. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm going
exactly.
to explore just how to go about doing that and getting. I'll start small and go from there. But I will announce, and I'll probably let you know as well once
Please.
that becomes official,
Yes.
and explain and how to, if people are interested in how to get a hold of it. But I have a feeling it's going to be like a sort of like a set idea. So you get, because it's not the instructions for some of my artwork. Like, anyway, some of it could be like a Steinman original. You want to buy like an actual Steinman, original artwork. And this is not the best example, but like you want to buy this completely done because it's kind of complicated, and the instructions would be hard to like.
Right.
Just one corner alone is a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, this would not be cheap if we were to buy it. But
some people are willing to pay that, though.
Yeah,
I was having a conversation with you about Brito and how Romero Brito, right? He's got a style. I bought like a little ceramic teddy bear, and I think it cost me several $100s for this, and it's not that big. It's like this big, right?
Yeah.
And somebody would easily be paying you, for that handmade cube, and you sign it, and maybe you can make 200 of those, and that's it.
Yep.
Yes, 200 of those, and those are originals from you.
Yeah, so I'm going to be figuring that out and sort of how I want to handle that and stuff like that in the hopefully in the near future. Like I said, I'll start small and just feel it out, see how it goes and feels. But there's definitely enough interest for something to be there. And I don't want to take away from my own time and creativity. So having someone locally that actually knows how to handle that end of it is very helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'll be making announcements about that as
we'll be anxiously awaiting to see what you do. And there's another Canadian artist that I follow, Paul Hetherington. Do you know Paul?
I don't know.
He's on the other coast. He's near Vancouver, I think. Okay. But I recently bought a print of his. So what he did is he took one of his pieces of art that was Gotham City, and he put a Batman backdrop on it, and it made it into a print. I'm not at my studio right now, so I can't show you, but I'll send you a photo of it, and then that might be another option for you too. And
I'm all about supporting local and artists. Look at this T-shirt.
Oh, I love that T-shirt.
This is by a local artist called the Quarrelsome Yeti.
Pearls of Getty?
The Quarrelsome Yeti, as in like Yeti, like what do you call it?
We'll have to send. Can you send me a text in the private chat or no?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a bunch of local artists that.
Okay, we'll put it into the description after the stream post.
Yeah, sure.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's just
I love
an
the eyes
with antlers, and anyway,
yeah,
crazy.
An octopus with antlers. That's awesome. Yeah, so apparently Paul Hetherington is bringing a ton of mucks to a con near me.
Okay, I think I know who this is. Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure you've seen him. He's done Tiki Madness is one of the ones that he's well known for.
These are big scenes, right?
There's usually a big backdrop on his, and then he has motorization on the bottom. And he recently also did the Encanto house from movie.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I follow him.
Yeah, he was at BrickCon recently, and what he started doing is selling these prints through some of the small mom and pop brick stores. So I went to Bobacon up in Everett, and I bought this. I haven't told him yet because I'm going to go to BrickCon. I think he's going to be there. I'm going to ask him to sign it.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned that I'm planning on going with a few people from my lug to Portland, Maine.
Yes.
For Brick Universe, Portland, Maine, because it's close to us, closest to us, I guess you'd say. So we can drive there from Nova Scotia, and it's not too far away. So that's end of April. It's actually my birthday.
Oh, awesome! What a great way to spend your birthday.
Birthday weekend would be my first convention.
Yes.
First Lego convention. So anyway, that's the idea right now, is to go to Portland, Maine, for the Brick Universe.
Well, I hope you make it out to the West Coast, because
Yeah, that would be nice as well.
maybe next year,
Yeah.
because it'll be the week probably before your birthday in April of 2024. You should go to BrickCan in Vancouver.
Okay.
That's my plan for this year. I'm going to be. I've already paid for everything, except for, I just have the reservation for the hotel. So, yeah. But it's. I'm so looking forward to it, because they haven't had one for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I've never been, and everybody's told me it's the best convention in. Well, I think it's one of the few that's in Canada. So.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
And
Cool.
has anybody approached you about Lego Masters as well? Now that Canadians are now coming on
Yes, I have a. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, because I went through part of the process last year with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a weird sort of. Anyway, without getting too far into it, it's like they wanted me to be something that wasn't me. So it didn't really go very far. So.
Well, that's the thing you got to be careful about. We had an interview with several of the candidates or contestants rather.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, I guess we should call it Hairgate because I'll give you 3 examples. Carrie from the Grandpappies, he showed up with a mohawk on all of the episodes. He never wears a mohawk, right? They said they put so much gel in his hair that every night he had to wash it off just to go to sleep. Jonathan from the Jonathan and Xavier team, he's Asian American and he's got black hair, but sometimes he puts, highlights and blonde tips. And he's gone blonde before. They actually asked him to go blonde 2 days before going to set. So he bleached his hair and dyed it blonde. He spent 8 hours in a chair, at the salon just to get his hair blonde for the show.
Right.
And then the last example I can give is the firefighters that crash. Stephen Castley, he said that he showed up and they just cut his hair because it was too long. So I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'd do if somebody just said, oh, no, we don't want your hair like that. And I guess you must sign a contract that, I know somebody who worked for Disney, and she, the first day of work, they made her dye her hair because they wanted her to be a brunette. So it was kind of like, okay, well.
Of course, that when they're shooting is also the busiest time at where I work.
Oh,
as well,
that's
where
true.
I manage. So anyway, probably not going to work out. Maybe in the future, maybe if there's Lego Masters Canada, who knows?
Well, I also think, and I wanted this message to get out to people too, is that being on Lego Masters is an honor, and it's really wonderful that we have so many people willing to do that, because you make a lot of sacrifices to be on that show, as I've mentioned already with the hair. But I do think people shouldn't feel devalued if they're not on the show, because I think a lot of people have applied and maybe have been ghosted or have not heard back or it didn't work out, but they shouldn't feel devalued. It's just at the time of casting, they wanted a certain kind of person, and you maybe didn't fit at that time. And I've had to coach myself on that, because I've been ghosted twice by them. And I wasn't the one who wanted to be on the show. They approached me the first time, and then the second time a friend had asked me to go with her. And I just said to myself, why am I in Lego? I love it because of the people that I meet in this hobby, and people like you who I haven't met in person. I hope I get to meet you in person someday. But the fact that we can celebrate our art, and I think that's the most important thing, is that we can celebrate our art together, and we can value the friendships and the fellowship in this community. And I'm just so thankful that you took the time to be here, and that you took the time to do the first 2-minute tech tip. And do you have any closing remarks or anything you wanted to make sure that we share with our audience here?
I've said this before in a couple little. I'm a bit shy when it comes to lives, like I see people jump on lives, and I want to sort of jump on there and watch, but at the same time, I got so much going on that I feel like I'll jump on there and then I'll leave after a few minutes just because I sort of have to, and I don't. Anyway, I overthink it. So I guess one of my things is to tell people not to overthink it, especially with their own builds.
Yeah.
So many times I will prejudge. I'll prejudge because you've sort of stared at something for so long, like some build, and you're not happy with it.
Right.
Sometimes I think, oh, like people aren't going to like it, but it just anyway. I've learned anyway that
art. That's the other thing, is that one person's art is going to appeal to one group of people, and that art may not appeal to another group.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean your art is bad. It just means that, you know, certain people will appreciate your art for what it is.
Yeah. And many people will see what they want to see. I mean, and that's the thing with doing art, is up for some interpretation. But I've learned a lot of things. People will make references to stuff I've done, and then I'll look up those references, and then I'll educate myself on what they think I built.
Well, so. I've felt some of your work reminds me of Escher, some of the Escher drawings.
Yeah.
And just the whole, I guess, endless cycle, kind of like the staircase, the infinite staircase is probably one of his most famous pieces. And I think the other thing about your art, at least for me, it evokes emotion. Even if it's a cube art that's abstract, that maybe isn't directly attached to something maybe in real life, it's an abstract piece of work. It does evoke emotion, and it's very positive. And I think that's another thing that you're bringing to the world that is just so beautiful and wonderful.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it sounds like people love your work too, and looking forward to seeing more of your work, Zachary. And everybody's very excited. And I'm so thankful that you've taken the time, because you said you're a shy person, and that you've taken an hour of your time to be here, plus the time you spent to make the 2-minute tech tip, which we really appreciate. Thank you so much for that. And if anybody wants to follow Zach, you can follow him at Steinman Zachary. I've had to practice that because I keep wanting to say Zachary Steinman. And you mostly are on Instagram, right? Or do you have YouTube or anything else? Pinterest?
I have a very, 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 very shy Instagram or YouTube channel, with not a lot happening on it.
Okay.
It is there, but my main thing is Instagram. Yeah.
Instagram. Okay, wonderful. And if you like this, please remember to like and subscribe to the stream. 2023 is going to be really new for, this is one of the new segments that we're working on, is we're going to interview artists and then get a 2-minute tech tip from them. So Zach is leading the way and leading the charge, and really appreciate you doing that. And if anybody wants to send any fan mail, you can send it to the Brick and Ether Broadcast Network, P.O. Box 31956, Seattle, Washington 98103. So thanks again, Zach. Such a pleasure to have you here. And I am looking forward to seeing what you're going to bring to 2023. I'm sure there's going to be just some more amazing builds that we're going to have.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. And as they say on the Brick and Ether Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Take care. Bye.